Fantastic. So you have made your Mint account and you added in all of your details, like your bank details, credit cards, loans, your cars, your property. It pretty much asks you for everything you could ever imagine. So this is the dashboard, and what you can do from here is just a little walkthrough. This is your alerts. When you click on this, it's going to show you, all of your notifications, like if you get a big deposit or if you overspend on a budget, it'll say, hey, you're overspending on your budget. Mint also has an app that I like to check more frequently, so I can just be like, boom, every time I spend, I can see it and then recategorize it to a specific budget category, but we'll get into that in a minute. But this is your dashboard. Over here, you have your cash in your accounts. Don't worry about these numbers here. These are pseudo numbers for the purpose of showing. I'm not at $0, but you can have all of your accounts in here, your checkings, your savings, your PayPals. And then to the right of that, you can add your bills. You can see your bills. Mint does a pretty good job of recognizing patterns for you and being like, hey, you're paying rent every month. That's a bill. And it'll say, hey, you got your bill. Or you can even put track a bill, go in there and add your bill into there, and it'll automatically show up and say, hey, you haven't paid yet. Next, it'll try to sell you some stuff as a free service. So you're going to get a little bit of ads, and it's usually just to try to get a credit card. And then here you'll have your credit cards, which will show, if you have a negative amount, it will show you how much a negative amount is. Or, if you ever have a credit on it for some reason, like you're in the plus, it'll show that too. Next, you can have your loans in here. And I actually really appreciate this feature because you can see it in real time, and you'll notice every time you log in here, Mint will do a refresh on all of your accounts. So you have all the up-to-date information. So if you just made a big payment on your loans 3 days ago, you'll be able to see it reflect here and actually see that number drop as you continue to do it. As you can see, when I was paying off my loans, I had more than a handful of them. Next, you can add some goals in here, and this could be a savings goal or, an investing goal. Mint does a good job of allowing you to customize your own goals, financial goals, which is helpful to see. I haven't ever used it because I write my stuff down and then I say it to myself all the time to keep it locked to my noggin. But this is a pretty helpful tool if you're trying to save or get out of debt, which we are. It will also give you a free credit score right here. So have your number right here, big, and it'll kind of tell you what's going on with how you are using your credit cards. And we'll probably go into credit cards in more detail. You can also have your investments. So this investment section here is if you're, investing in mutual funds or stocks or anything like that, that'll pop up right here. And then you can have your property. So if you have a house, or if you have, that's any asset you have, your cars. And as you can see, I left this one so you can see what I'm rocking with. I actually practice what I preach here. I don't buy fancy things, fancy cars, and overspend. This is a 2002 Honda Accord and a 1986 Chevy Suburban, and it will actually determine the value of your car based on whatever you enter. So my Honda Accord has like 270,000 miles, but a new engine or something. So it's doing fairly well. Here, you can see your bill reminders, kind of a timeline of when you have to pay things, which is nice. And then you keep going. Usually they'll have some insights for you of like how you can manage your money a little bit better. And then your budgets here. But let's talk about these trends first. So your trends, you can see I'm balling out with $1 million in cash. And then I also have a net of $1 million in cash. This is just a nice December to May, just balling out with a quick milli. But it will show your spending, your income to your spending. So that rule of spending less than you make is critical. And this is like surefire way to see where you're doing that and how well you're doing in regards to how much you've brought in and how much you're spending. Let's go back up here to your budgets. This is a big, quick overview of budgeting. Next one, I'll show you how to actually make a budget in here. But this is an example budget of somebody with 50K in their budget. They got their mortgage, their rent, their charity, entertainment, groceries, all that stuff. These probably need to be a little higher, but maybe they're super savers. Who knows? But I like this because you'll be able to see that when you spend, it'll have how close you are to hitting your mark, or it'll be in the green area if it's like below halfway, and then orange, and then red when you hit the end. And that's just a nice, clear way to be like, oh, how close am I spending? You could pop in on your app, or after you've done all your recorded your transactions and your Google Sheets, you can pop over here and like see another comparison of how much you're actually spending. You can manage your budgets here. And then also they give you ways to save. They offer you these things, smarter deals. In my personal opinion, I don't ever really go for these because I feel like they have their own incentive to offer you things. The best way to save is to not spend. And I don't need to, fall into their tricks of signing up for another credit card to save money. That doesn't make sense to me. So that's all of it. Here at the top, let's not forget everything. If you forget anything that I just said, they have a tour button that'll walk you through most everything here. You got your transactions. That's if you wanted to see all of your transactions, similar to your Google Sheets, which is great for flopping back and forth. And it's really good if you have automated transactions happening, which we'll talk about. But it's nice because everything will be in here. Everything for every account automatically shows up here. Your goals, if you have them, your credit score, your bills, your budget, which is you'll probably be mainly using the budgets and the transactions here. Your trends in your spending, which is cool. It's more of like a pie chart, and then your investments, and then ways to save. It's your profile. That's where you get your settings, and then you can add accounts if you want to. That's the overview of Mint. Let's go into creating a budget, and then we can maybe even check out some transactions and categorize them correctly. I will see you there. Bye-bye.